This is Golf with Jay Delsing. A two-time All-American at UCLA. Competed in nearly 700 PGA Tour events, 7 professional wins to his credit. Over 30 years of professional golf experience. A member of the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame and the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. This is Golf with Jay Delsing. It's time to tee it up. News from the world of golf. We're on the range with Jay and Dan.
Welcome into Golf with Jay Delsing, and with Jay Delsing, I'm Dan McLaughlin, brought to you by Doherty Business Solutions as we come to you from the CarShield Studios. Our guest coming up, Christina Ricci, founder of More Pars Golf, and two-time U.S. Open champ Curtis Strange. He'll be our guest as well. As we start the show, I want to say Happy Father's Day to you, Jay, and also Happy U.S. Open final day. This course has absolutely beat them up.
Oh, my gosh. It's unbelievable. First of all, Happy Father's Day to you, Danny. Happy Father's Day to all the dads that are listening out there and are tipping our cap to right now to all the dads that give a damn and care about how important it is to be a dad. So we love that. Pinehurst. Wow. So here's what's interesting, Danny. Pinehurst was initially built, years and years and years ago as a place for this owner to relax and regroup and rejuvenate.
Good luck relaxing there.
I know. I got such a kick out of that because it's like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why does the USGA make the U.S. Open so difficult? I mean, you're seeing the pros the last 3 days. I mean, they're putting off greens. They can't get to a green. They're in sand. It's crazy how hard the USGA makes the U.S. Open.
They want to. So a lot of opinions on that, Danny, but that's a great question. My dad, God rest his soul, used to say, son, don't even play in it. They're just trying to show you up, which meant, in his mind, embarrass you. And I said, Dad, it's the title. You're the United States Open champion. I'm playing. And they're trying to differentiate the U.S. Open from every other event that we play at, Danny. And you know what it looks like on the regular tour. It's 20 under par, 25 under par, 18 under par, and it's birdies galore. This, especially at Pinehurst, is an entirely different look. But you have to remember, we went to Erin Hills, for example, and Brooks Koepka won at 17 under par. And so the USGA has kind of varied off of this formula somewhat, not entirely, but somewhat. Now, Wyndham Clark was not double digits under par at the LA Country Club, but it just gets different. And what they're trying to do, which is really, really difficult, is they're trying to get the golf course to crescendo so that Sunday it plays the most difficult, and that is really hard. And in the past, like at Shinnecock, and they've made mistakes. When the last U.S. Open I played in, Danny, was 2006, and it was at Wingfoot, which is one of my favorites. Unfortunately, I was 46 years old then, but it was still very cool to play in. And on Tuesday of that week, so we played Wingfoot West, and it is a ball buster, man. It is hard. It's an A.J. Tillinghast course, old school, very slopey greens. And on Tuesday, we played our practice round, and we're like, ooh, these greens are almost gone. You know, because it's how much water do you put on them to keep them alive, but get them really hard and fast. And so the USGA panicked at this 06 Open. And I watched it. So they threw a bunch of water on it Wednesday, and it disrupted the way that the greens play the entire rest of the week. So it's not a science. It's difficult. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to put an exclamation point on every part of your game. And I was listening to some of the interviews pre-tournament this week, listening to Tiger talk about how much he loved the USO. I love the grind of it. I love how hard it is. I mean, that's the only way to succeed in this thing is to take it on. And that, like I heard Tommy Fleetwood say, it borderlines on unfair. And I'm like, You're out.
Yeah,
I mean, you're right. It's
mentally, if you're saying that, you're out.
Right. I mean, it shows you that a guy like Tiger Woods is just made differently than everybody else. And so it's really, I think it's so cool that the USGA ends this tournament on Father's Day every year. I just think it's unbelievable. And one of the most ironic things in golf is, you know whose birthday today is? Phil Mickelson's. And he's got six, maybe seven runner-up in the U.S. Open and never won it.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I knew he had a bunch.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was 6 or 7.
Yeah.
That's a ton.
And that kept him from having a career Grand Slam.
Right.
Yeah.
What was your experience like? I mean, did you enjoy it? Was it the grind of it? What did you take in from that?
It was really tough. So I only played in 3 U.S. Opens, but when I played a U.S. Open, I played the U.S. Open in '92 at Pebble Beach. And because we played the AT&T tournament there and the old Bing Crosby tournament there, I had a deep understanding of the golf course before I went in. And then now the USGA brings in all this rough and then all this wind, and it still made it impossible. But I was extremely comfortable going into the week. Now, when I played in my an Open up at Hazeltine, for example, I never even seen the golf course. So I get there on a Monday, I play it on a Monday, I play it on a Tuesday, I play it on a Wednesday, and I'm trying to get in as much as I can. And I think I missed that cut by 1 stroke up there. I played pretty well, but I still missed the cut. But they only take 60 in ties, which is odd because the PGA Tour, when I played, took 70 in ties. And then playing at Wingfoot was the same way. I didn't know the golf course. It was I know what to do, but once you play 15 or 20, 30 rounds on a place like I had at Pebble Beach, you just get a different there's just comfort on the greens, for example. You know what the greens are doing and things like that. A lot of the guys, the better players, will make these visits to these places ahead of the tournament. You know, when Tiger was in his prime, he was flying in all the time to get 36 holes in, 2 months before the championship would be played, and then go in and see it again in a month. And then, so by the time he got there, he pretty much knew what he was facing.
I want to ask Curtis Strange, and again, he's coming up, 2-time U.S. Open champ, what it means to win the U.S. Open compared to the British or the PGA or even the Masters, but being an American that wins the U.S. Open, just the importance of that and what it means to him as opposed to the other tournaments.
Absolutely. And prior to Brooks Koepka winning back-to-back Open championships, Curtis has been the last to do that in forever. And so, yeah, it's I can't wait. Curtis is great. I loved listening to his coverage at Augusta, and then he did it again at the PGA Championship at Valhalla. So I enjoy his commentary a lot.
Okay, you're watching today. You're at home. You're listening to our show, of course, and then you're going to watch the U.S. Open. Tell us about Pinehurst 2.
Okay, so Pinehurst number 2. My buddy and roommate, college teammate Steve Pate said they're like the greens at Pinehurst number 2 are like German army helmets, except harder to hit. And I've told everybody this whole week, Danny, is that you can look at a green and go, wow, that's a big green. But effectively, how much room there is on there, it's less than half, because there's these slopes that when the greens are this speed, the ball just rolls. We've already seen it. It's like ping pong. You go back and forth, and Colin Morikawa on Thursday hit it over, I think, the 6th green and was just absolutely dead, made a double bogey, almost made a triple bogey. And it's just one of those things where here's what to look for. You're going to see a bigger variety of club selections and different shots right around the greens, Danny, than you'll ever see in any other tournament. And with all of those different options leads indecision and doubt. And the players will undoubtedly be, man, maybe I should have hit a bump and run instead of hitting that up in the air. Maybe I should have putted it. When Martin Keimer won in 99, he was it 99 or 205?
05.
05. No, Payne won in 99,
Right.
which was wonderful. When he won by 8 strokes, he putted everything. Well, the USGA thwarted that strategy this year by putting in different layers of rough. Not long, but so it's not this big hay like you'll see at Pebble Beach or things like that. It's just a higher level of short fringe that's going to make putt it. You can still putt it, but you got to judge it, and it's Bermuda grass, so it'll get bouncy because of the grain, and it makes it almost impossible. So you're going to see less putting than you did in 2005 when Martin Keimer won. But it's going to lead to indecisions. You're going to see great players hit terrible shots.
Pinehurst number 2. If I said that to you in December, what comes to mind? What is it known for? What did you say that makes it so tough?
First of all, it's like a golf mecca, Danny. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's like 2 hours from Charlotte, an hour and a half from Raleigh, and you're driving. And the first time you're like, where am I going? When it's in the deep south, it's going to be hot. It reminds me of it being extremely hot. When I was in college there, we played the NCAA tournament there my junior year, and we also played I played in the North-South Championship there as a junior and made the match play, but didn't. I think I lost my first or second match, so it wasn't a factor in that championship. But I remember the golf course. I remember trying to figure out how to hit these little shots around the green because they're really tight, sandy lies. Nothing that we see in the Midwest at all. So you're going to see a lot of hybrids, Danny. You're going to see a lot of 3-woods. You're going to see a lot of wedges. You're going to see a lot of 8-irons. And you just don't see that variety. And so because of that, I believe that's going to lead into indecision in some of these, and you're going to see some bad shots.
What was really cool in watching the first 3 days of the U.S. Open is honoring Payne Stewart, who won the 1999 U.S. Open.
Yeah, you know what? I had the sincere pleasure of getting to know Payne. When I was a senior in high school, I played on the Missouri Cup matches. It's funny. We had Payne Stewart on that team. We had Tom Pernice. We had myself. We had Jim Holtgreave. We had one other. Pretty good. And the local pros, whipped our butts. We played at Jeff City Country Club, and we got wiped out.
How did you lose with those names?
I know. I can remember I played against the greatest, God rest this guy's soul, Joe Jimenez, was forever the head pro at Jefferson City Country Club. He was the host that week, and I played him in my individual matches. And I'll never forget, I don't know if we tied or if I beat him one up. He had a 4-foot putt, and I almost gave it to him because he's one of the best putters I'd ever seen. And that was back in the day, Danny, where in match play you could leave your opponent's ball. So I had just missed my birdie putt, and my ball was hanging literally like a half an inch off the edge of the hole. And he had a putt that was a right edge putt. And you could bank it off my ball and go in. You could still do that. And somehow he hit a putt that missed the hole to the right and missed my ball. And so I don't know if we tied or if I won, but it was a great experience. And then I got to play on tour with Payne. And Payne made a huge difference in my life about when I played practice rounds with him, my golf life, because he told me there's no places on the PGA Tour to work on these 30, 40, 50-yard pitch shots. So we would go out and play a practice round, and we'd hit 30 or 40 pitches on every hole. And he taught me that, and I was never doing that. And this was probably after maybe almost 6-8 years on tour. And it really, really helped, and it showed me how much I needed to work on my short game.
How about the fact that I went back and looked at this? He averaged 255 yards off the tee back in 1999, and it just tells you how much the game has changed as we play here in 2024. That's amazing. So, again, he averaged 255 off the tee.
That's crazy because Payne was pretty long. But, Denny, if you'll recall, that Open, somehow it was cold and damp and foggy. And when he made that last putt on 18 and did the fist pump, kicked the back leg up, he almost was breathing out. Like you could see you see his breath a little bit. So it was a really, really super strange U.S. Open. I can remember Phil Mickelson was expecting his first child, and he had a beeper on him that if the thing went off, he was going to head to California to make the birth of his first daughter, and he wound up finishing second to Payne Stewart. Here's what's ironic, Payne Stewart was a character. He was colorful. He was crazy. He was really, really fun to be with, but maybe not the best human he could be. Let's put it that way. He had just made this commitment to changing the way that he was and living a different life and everything, and then died like 3 months later.
Wow.
It's so ironic. One of the things I have to say, because we talked about the unfortunate and tragic death of Grayson Murray just, almost a month ago now. Gosh, it's hard to believe it's been almost that long. But Danny, when I remember having Payne sign a couple gloves for me for something I was doing for a charity, and we shook hands and said, have a good off season. We'll see you in January. And then he died later that day, and we all turned around and went back to Orlando probably within 3 days to honor him, and it was unbelievable. So Tracy Stewart is his wife, and he's got a son, Aaron, and daughter, Chelsea, and they were blown away at the outpouring of love and concern and prayers and well wishes, because you don't see it until it gets just, a tragedy appears like that. And I said to Phil Mickelson, we were in the locker room in Memphis, and his wife, Amy, had just been diagnosed with breast cancer. And I said to him, buddy, you're going to realize what kind of second family you have out here. And I saw him, gosh, when was it? I saw him maybe a year and a half later, and he said, you remember that conversation we had in the locker room in Memphis? And I said, yeah. And he goes, man, you were right. It was amazing how good it felt to know that all of these people out here, you may walk by them 3 times in a hallway, not even say anything. And they all sent well wishes and prayers and everything. So it's pretty cool. It really is pretty cool, because generally speaking, it's a bloodbath, and it's mine over yours, and I want to take you out, and I'm going to do anything I can to beat you. And when something that's more meaningful happens, then all those fall into place.
What did guys think of how he dressed? I've always wondered that, with the knickers and the cap.
So this is great. So we'll pull the curtain back on the locker room. So Payne, Golf Digest had a thing out every year that said the best dressed golfers, and Payne won it every year. And it was a joke to us, because he'd wear these stretchy nylon socks, Danny, that were I guarantee you've never had a pair of anything like this on your life. I know I haven't either. And they were all multicolored. He would travel, Danny, with probably 6 or 8 different pair of golf shoes. So he'd had all this luggage, and we would just beat him up, because I'm like, you look like a clown. You got your knickers on and all this stuff. And he's like, yeah, you boys just don't get it. And what it was this was his uniform. First of all, he was paid handsomely by the NFL and by all of these. He got paid more than anyone else for the clothing. And also, Danny, it provided him a uniform. So when he took his hat off, he's kind of balding up top, which we made sure he knew about all the time. We said he wasn't recognized. He was not easily recognized in restaurants and things like that, because he wore this type. It was almost like a uniform, and he made so much money off. He was a great marketer. He was a character and really good player. My last Payne Stewart story was, I'm a senior in high school, and I qualified for the Missouri Amateur, and it's down in Kansas City at this all men's club called Wolf Creek Golf Club. It's a great, cool place. I had never played it, and so I go down there for match play. And Payne and Jim Holkreeve are the top amateurs in this thing, and I'm 18 years old. And Payne says going in, I don't know if he'll make it to the finals, but if Holkreeve makes it to the finals, I'll beat him worse. I'll beat him so bad. No one's ever been beaten this bad before in their life. And I was taken aback by this. This was Muhammad Ali-ish, Danny.
Why would he say this?
Well, because I guess he and Holkreeve did not get along very well, and he was putting pressure on him.
Yeah.
And of course, they did meet in the finals, and of course, he beat the hell out of Jimmy. He beat him like 10-9.
Wow.
He beat him like 10-9.
Wow.
And
that's a beating.
It was a beating. And so
we like Jim. I mean,
I know. Of course, we like Jim. He's been on the show. He's a great ambassador. He's a member at Bell Reeve, and he's just a golf ambassador extraordinaire. So, but I mean, that's this was 1979, and things were different. There wasn't social media, so this wasn't blasting out all over the place. This hit probably St. Louis and Kansas City newspapers, and that was it.
Sure.
Yeah. So Payne was a character, and man, he was a good player. Went to SMU. He's from Springfield, Missouri, and now, Payne's Valley is named in honor of him. It's a great golf course down Johnny Morris has done down in Springfield, and his legacy rolls on, and he is missed, man. The world is worse off. Heaven's better off. The world's worse off not having Payne around in it. He was really fun.
So it's the final day of the U.S. Open. Over the weekend, there's been the tributes for Payne Stewart. Coming up on this show, we'll visit with a two-time U.S. Open champ. That's Curtis Strange. And then coming up next, you have an interesting interview with Christina Ricci, the founder of More Pars Golf. What is this all about?
Okay, so I found this. A friend of mine said, hey, there's this woman. She's incredible. Okay. And she's running these camps and really, really and truly helping people with their game. And I said, I'm all about it. Let me dig in. So she's got a YouTube channel. She has more damn energy, and she is a baller. She is taking people's games. It doesn't matter if you're a 50 handicap. She'll take you on. You're a single digit wanting to get scratched. She will help. She's written several books. Her name is Christina Ricci. She founded More Pars Golf. But here's what's interesting, Danny, and I didn't know this, and this is a little spoiler alert, but she was working and owned a very successful business and ran into golf later in life and then quit the other business.
Yeah, she got the bug, didn't she?
Wow. To say she got the bug it's just incredible. So I just did some diving into her, and I talked to a couple of people that have gone to her schools and her camps, and she's all over. She does them in Arizona. She does them in Florida. She does them in South Carolina. I think during the summertime she's up in New England. So, yeah, she's really fun, and she's a warrior, and she's out there growing the game. So I'm like, you're perfect for our show.
Christina Ricci is coming up. Curtis Strange is coming up. Now time to tip the cap. Tip of the cap is always brought to you by
the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. Very good. Thanks for teeing me up. And our buddy Colin Burnt, 314-966-0303. Any vehicle, Colin can help you. We're tipping our cap to the USGA. You know what? This has been a tumultuous time for our pro game, and there has not been a better time for certain entities to step up and lead. And you know what? The PGA of America, I'm so proud of those guys, Seth Waugh and his team, Nathan and John and Don and all that, the executive team, doing what they did for the PGA Championship and having horrible wild cards thrown at them. A poor man losing his life, Scotty Scheffler getting arrested, all this stuff. They did a great job. Now it's the USGA's turn. A couple of weeks ago, we had the Women's U.S. Open at Lancaster, Pennsylvania, at Lancaster Country Club there, and now we're at Pinehurst, and we've got Mike Waugh. He is leading the troops, and this is going to be one hell of a Sunday. There might be blood. What was that movie? There Will Be Blood?
Yeah.
It's kind of like Last Man Standing, Danny. That's the way I see Pinehurst. I think it's going to play that tough.
Okay, Christina Ricci coming up. Curtis Strange later in the show. Happy Father's Day, everyone. And it's the final day of the U.S. Open. Christina is coming up, and you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
That was On the Range. Up next, we'll head to the front nine. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing, presented by Doherty Business Solutions.
Doherty Business Solutions has been enhancing the business of our customers for the last 37 years. How do we do it? Through our expertise in technology, better use of data and analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. We roll up our sleeves and collaborate. We build applications and effectively communicate with our partner clients to bring their goals and objectives to the finish line. Our award-winning Access Point program is a community game changer. With nearly 100 students in the program, Mostly young African-American females are making between $55,000 and $60,000 per year right out of high school. That's right, $55,000 to $60,000 a year right after high school graduation. That's when they begin their training. CEO Ron Daugherty believes the talent is equally distributed, but access to that opportunity is not. So here's Access Point, providing more and more opportunity for those in and around our community. It's Daugherty Business Solutions.
Get ready to watch the legends of golf up close when they compete at historic Norwood Hills Country Club right here in St. Louis. The Ascension Charity Classic will be back again with some of golf's greatest names. Steve Stricker, Padraig Harrington, John Daly, David Duval, Bernard Longer, Justin Leonard, David Toms, and more will compete returning September 3rd through the 8th. Visit AscensionCharityClassic.com for information.
Are you driving an out-of-warranty car? It's only a matter of time before your out-of-warranty vehicle is in the shop costing you thousands of dollars. Auto repair costs are up nearly 20% from last year, which is 4 times the rate of inflation. If an unexpected breakdown happened today, would you be ready for that? Well, now you can be with a plan through CarShield. Even if your car is just over 3 years old, it's still prone to expensive costs. Your car is more than just getting you from point A to point B. Traveling by car is a way of life. From picking up your kids to going to a new restaurant, cars are a daily essential. When you enroll in a car protection plan through CarShield, you can look forward to the following. The price will never go up no matter how many claims you file, or no matter how high the mileage on your car increases. CarShield offers protection plans that start as low as $100 per month. That's $100 per month. They have repair coverage for up to 5,000 different parts of your vehicle. Plus, when your car breaks down and you're stuck on the side of the road, you get 24/7 coast-to-coast roadside assistance. You also get complimentary towing and rental car options. CarShield has my back when my car breaks down, and they can have yours too. Call CarShield today at 800-465-6550 or visit carshield.com. It's CarShield, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Hi, this is Peter Jacobson, and you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
I'm delighted to welcome the Amateur Players Tour to the Golf with Jay Delsing show. The APT team has worked so hard to establish a national golf tour for amateurs. Folks, don't miss out on this opportunity. If you love golf and ever wondered what all the fuss about tournament golf is, then this tour is for you. We just released the 2024 schedule, and it is a beast. There's 21 events currently in the metropolitan St. Louis area, with many more to come. But check out these golf courses: Paynes Valley, Ozark National, Stonewolf, Ambrier, Persimmon Woods, Gateway National, and a 36-hole event on Norwood's West Course, and many more. Okay, so the courses are certainly cool and nice, but what's really neat is the way the events are run and how they are run. The APT team does a fantastic job of closely monitoring handicaps and ensuring a good and fair competition. There are 5 divisions, a year-long points competition, major championships, elevated events, and much, much more. Right now, there are over 6,000 members in 41 different local chapters across the country, and all that's happened in just over 5 years. Join now and don't miss out on the best tournament golf in the country, run for amateurs by amateurs themselves. Go to amateurplayerstour.com. That's amateurplayerstour.com.
This is Golf with Jay Delsing. The Front Nine is presented by the Ascension Charity Classic. To find out more, visit AscensionCharityClassic.com.
Hey, this is Jay, and this is Golf with Jay Delsing, and I'm sitting down this morning with the founder of More Pars Golf. It's Christina Ricci. Christina, thanks for joining me this morning.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Love being here.
Yeah, it's great. So I can't wait for people to learn more about you. Such an interesting person, and your take on helping people with their game. Tell us a little bit about your background, because I think you were kind of late to the golf party.
Yeah, I was. In golf terms, I was way late. I lived in Miami, and my stepdad was a big golfer, and he wanted to get my mother and I into golf. So he purchased a series of 5 lessons, and I took to it like a fish in water. Lived in Miami. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I can play every day. Because I grew up playing sports. My mother, she was a tennis player, and she's like, yeah, this is a little too boring. But then I got into it. Richard and I would be playing all the time, yapping about golf, and she's like, all right.
I surrender. I'll play with you guys.
She like caved, and then she clocked like 120 rounds each summer in New England, which is a lot.
That is a lot.
Yes. So, we got hooked, and it's just a great game. There's so many facets to it. I just became obsessed. I was at the Jim McLean Golf School twice a week, taking lessons with Kevin Sprecher. And then I took lessons with Ray Boone down there. So I was constantly taking lessons because I just love to learn. And my goal was scratch, as fast as humanly possible, because I had dreams of, playing on tour, not realizing how kind of dumb that was. Because I did. But, I was just learning. I didn't really know the ropes. But, I started later in life. I started when I was 30. And then I dropped to a 5 handicap in 5 years. Now, the interesting thing is when I got to an 8, I came to a dead halt. I couldn't lower my handicap anymore. I'm like, what's going on? And I realized it was between the ears. So I went out to see Lynn and Pia, out in Arizona.
Absolutely.
Are you familiar with them, Vision 54?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went out there to do their mental camp, which I loved. It was amazing. And they were talking to all of us, telling us, oh, yeah, we're going to give you guys a book tomorrow. It's really important that you read it. But Christina, you need it now. You need it right now. So, yeah, I was a little bit of a head case. I got in my own way. I'm a perfectionist. So, I realized that, you're always learning the game.
And we do that to ourselves, Christina. We think that this, we hit that one shot and we keep working on it and we think we've got it. And then you need to pull it up one time in the round and it goes haywire and it just short circuits all of your thinking and it pisses you off. It hurts your feelings, does all sorts of stuff.
It's really between the ears, especially when you get into, at any level, because it's all relative. It's once you have the skills or decent skills, at that point, it's between the ears. It's mind control. Can you control your thoughts? I'm really going to tap into this. It's kind of my next venture. I just came from a conference in Dallas. Have you heard of Dave Asprey?
Yes.
Yeah, so I went to his biohacking conference, and they had a lot of brain gear down there to measure your brain waves. So I really want to get into that because I just think it's so important, even for recreational players, because they get so anxious when they're on the course, and just to really tap into your brain and learn how to control your thoughts and what you need to think about when you're on the golf course, I think is going to be so helpful. And I want to incorporate that into my camps.
Christina, it'll be a blast. And I think people will get a charge out of it because so much of golf mirrors life and mimics life and how you handle situations. And, in a round of golf, it's like you can even compare it to an entire lifetime.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. It can either bring out the best in you or the worst.
Yeah. I've had both.
Yep. Me too.
Definitely.
But it's fun. I love it. And I love helping players. I really love helping players get more pars.
Yeah. So it really comes true. I love the title. The More Pars really drew my attention as I was doing some. So let's talk a little bit. So you're an ambassador for PXG and love Bob Parsons and what he's brought into the game of golf. And you're an PGA of America, an LPGA of America Class A professional, TPI Level 3 instructor, Power Level 2, and Fitness Level 2 coach.
Those are all TPIs. Yep.
Yeah. So, man, you got a full blood. Your amount of passion just oozes through the microphone right now, and so it just seems like once you got hooked. Tell us a little bit about what you were doing when you had to make a big decision about you had a successful business, and then all of a sudden golf happens, and it's like, now what am I going to do?
Yeah, I was in my own business, worked out of my house. I was computer graphics. I was also a creative director for a magazine. So in that world. And I was just playing too much golf. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm losing my clients because all I wanted to do was play golf. And my clients were like, where are you? And I couldn't structure it because I was self-employed, so I could work at night, but I was just too into it. So I'm like, how can I marry my two passions? What can I do? And I was thinking, maybe a training aid or, what about a book? And I'm like, who the heck's going to read a book from an amateur?
Yeah.
So I'm like, but let me just do it anyway. All right. So I started to write a book, and it was basically my journey from a new golfer to a 5 handicap in 5 years. So everything I went through, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then, basically the book was portable. It was designed to use on the golf course because all the books when I went to the bookstore, they were huge, so you couldn't really take them to the golf course. And then magazines like Golf Digest and, all those magazines with the tips, those were great, but, you can't really put those in your golf bag either, especially in Miami, because, they get hot and then they start to run. They're just no good. So I'm like, what can you do? Something's portable that you can just whip out, something that's all visual, cover to cover, yes, no, step 1, 2, 3. And so I wrote my first book.
Wow.
It was marketed to women at the time. It was called The Girls on Course Survival Guide to Golf. It was pink. It was pink argyle. It was totally marketed to women. Obviously, the instruction in there was for anybody, but that's how I entered the market. And I was able to get an agent, a book agent, and then a publisher, which was like incredible. Now, when we were looking for a publisher, my agent's like, well, Christina, we've gone through 50 publishers. Everyone has said no. We've got one more shot here. And it was Thomas Nelson, and the publisher was a woman, and she said yes.
Wow.
It was the very last one. It was like crazy. So I got published. It was awesome.
That is fantastic.
That kicked everything off.
I'm visiting with Christina Ricci. She is the founder of More Pars Golf, and we are talking about her journey. So Christina, you're a 5 handicap after 5 years. I mean, that book has got to be so relatable, right? Anybody that started the game has got to be like, this game is so hard. What do I want to keep going, until that one shot, you hit that one shot and it bites you and you're like, all right, I'm in.
Yeah, exactly. It's all it takes too, is that one shot.
It's crazy.
Just one.
So then where did you go? So how did you start? Did you wind up giving up the marketing business and just right away, and jump straight into More Pars, or what did that look like?
No, it was a gradual. I published the book, and then I put all my marketing efforts into promoting the book. But I still did my marketing, on the side, because I wasn't teaching at that time at all. It was just the book. So I was doing both. And that's all I had at the time was the book. And then I started getting asked, hey, do you teach? And I'm like, no. So then I started co-coaching with a PGA professional up here in New England, Mark Spencer, and we did some summer clinics. So that's how I got introduced to teaching. But I didn't want to teach anyone individual until I got certified. I'm like, there's no way I'm like doing this as a career until I get certified. So then I went through the LPGA program, and then I went through TPI, level 1, 2, 3, in their golf track, because they have different tracks. And then finally, I did the PGA, which was, a dream that I always wanted. I always wanted PGA. Every year I go to the PGA merchandise show. I'm like, oh man, I want to be PGA.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it took a while, but I did it, and I just love learning, so it was just great. So now I feel really comfortable coaching.
Right.
And I do camps across the country, and that's what I really like to do. Small groups of 6 typically. Sometimes I go up to 12. And I do them across the country, typically Florida, New England, Arizona, and California. And recently Texas.
Yeah, I love the tagline, like coming to a resort near you. So you take folks to a resort, work on their game. Are they typically 2-3 day schools? What does that look like for everybody?
3 days of instruction, 2 or 3 days of instruction. The Florida camps, they come in Sunday, check in. Instruction is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They play golf on Thursday, and then they check out Friday. So it's a nice leisurely week. The camps here in New England are 2-day camps. So people a lot of locals, but some fly in as well. And then they explore New England while they're up here. So I mix it up.
Yeah, it's very cool. And you go to different parts of the country. So you have really got to get your coaching hat on, because what you deal with down in Arizona is not always what you're going to deal with in Florida. And then you go up to New England, and that's an entirely different bag. So you got to know every little nook and cranny of this game.
Yeah, my audience is typically 40 plus. A lot of couples come, and they typically, and this is just generally speaking, they typically shoot, high 80s, 90s, and 100. Get some players that are low 80s, high 70s. And a few times I got real low, like, early 70s. But typically it's the higher handicapper, that just wants to improve. They want to make less triple bogeys. They want more, they'll be happy with bogey, that kind of player.
They want more pars, man. They want more pars.
They want more pars. And, the better players are like, I want birdies too.
Yeah, no kidding. How did you come up with the title?
When I was doing my video tips, it just kind of came out of my mouth. And then I did some tips for the Golf Channel, and I was nervous. I was so nervous because there were so many cameras. And I wasn't used to it because I'm so used to filming all my own stuff.
Yeah, sure.
So he's like, just what do you usually say in your own tips? Well, I always say, if you want more pars. And he's like, well, do that. And then that kind of resonated, and it stuck with it. And that's how Bob Parsons found me. He loved that. he watched my tips, and he loved that saying.
He could probably turn the pars into some sort of Parsons project or something like that, and run off and probably make another couple $1 billion with it. That's
funny. Yeah, he's a good player, though. He's a good game.
So that's neat. And so you teach him, right?
No. I went out to his Scottsdale National, did a camp out there. I played 27 holes with him.
Oh, okay.
I gave lessons to his wife, Renee.
Nice.
Gave a couple tips to Bob, but, that was it.
Yeah, he might be a tough one to talk to because he's, a retired Marine, and he sounds barky a little bit.
Yeah, you don't mess around with Bob. That's for sure. He's awesome. He's awesome. Super smart.
I've heard that. Christina, we're going to take a quick break. Do you have time to hang on the line and come back in the next segment and talk a little more bars? Fantastic. Absolutely. We'll be back with more Golf with Jay Delsing.
That was the front nine. Up next, we'll make the turn. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing, presented by CarShield.
Are you tired of watching your golf scores go up every year? Despite new equipment and even a couple lessons, you still fight that slice or your inability to get that ball up and down out of the bunker? Well, get ready to experience better golf with Elevate Golf. At Elevate Golf, we're changing the way golfers practice with our innovative and data-driven approach to learning and, most importantly, improving. We have an array of membership options where you can find the perfect fit for your golf, your lifestyle, and your budget. Whether you start in our full-service gym, the short game area that has real sand bunker, or one of our 7 TrackMan simulator bays, the team at Elevate Golf will do a complete assessment of you and your game, which is crucial because if you don't know where you're starting from, it's nearly impossible to attain a goal or a new level. Call us today at 636-265-0557 or visit us at elevategolf.com. That's ELV, the number 8, golf.com. Contact us today and get ready to play better golf.
This is Chris Nagel. And you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
If you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, any make or model, then you need to visit the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. They are the official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show. My daughter and I both drive vehicles supplied by Colin and the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, and it's because we know we can trust them. They made the car buying experience painless and easy, and their customer service is second to none. Every single step of the car buying experience was taken care of for us. You can reach Colin at 314-966-0303, and he will answer all of your questions and put your mind at ease. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood has new or pre-owned vehicles to be purchased or leased, whichever you prefer. Once you visit the Dean Team Volkswagen on Manchester in Kirkwood, you'll be a customer for life because they will treat you like family. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, the official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Hi, I'm Adam Betts, PGA professional and owner at Family Golf and Learning Center. We welcome golfers of all ages and abilities, from the junior golfer to the experienced players. From our indoor TrackMan simulators, large short game area, grass tees, and driving range bays, to our golf instruction, leagues, clinics, and camps, we connect you with every resource to reach your golfing goals. We look forward to helping you improve your golf game at Family Golf and Learning Center, where we make St. Louis better at golf. Visit us at familygolfonline.com. That's familygolfonline.com.
Recently, my nephew called me and said his basement had flooded and all the hardwood, carpet, and flooring had to be replaced. I told him I have the perfect place for you to go. At Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture, this second-generation family-owned business treats everyone just like their family. Jared Capps is continuing his mom and dad's 50-year business tradition where honesty, transparency, and service carry the day. My nephew loved the luxury vinyl product. Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture has the largest selection in the area. Whether you prefer Mohawk and the wide variety of their product lines, I love the Rev Wood product, by the way, or Karastan or Pergo Elements line, Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture will literally have you covered. You have pets? Let Jared tell you about the many sustainable flooring and carpet options that are pet-friendly but also easily maintained to keep your floors looking great every day. And don't forget about their huge selection of Lazy Boy recliners. They are awesome and one of the biggest selections in the Midwest. Call them today at 618-936-0536 and get your free estimate or set up a consultation with one of their experts. You can also go to jerseyvillecarpetandfurniture.net. Proud sponsor of Golf with Jay Delsing.
Is presented by Family Golf and Learning Center. For the kids and adults who love the game of golf, look no further than Family Golf and Learning Center. Now let's get back to Jay and Dan.
Hey, welcome back. This is Golf with Jay Delsing. I'm your host, Jay. I'm sitting down this morning with Christina Ricci. She is the founder of More Pars Golf, and we were just getting into talking about some of your cool camps. So the concept with More Pars is you go to different resorts around the country and everybody gets a chance to come and spend a little time at one of your camps.
Absolutely. Yep. So it's an immersive experience. The camps are small, so they get a lot of personal attention. I do detailed computer analysis. I shoot a lot of video during camp, so they get it after camp. So they really stay on track after camp. And I also offer remote coaching after camp. So it's really an immersive experience. I cover it all. I cover long game and short game. For the 2-day camps, day 1 is short game and day 2 is long game. And the 3-day camps are great because then I can dive more into the short game as well. The ones down in Florida at Hammock Beach Resort and Spa, which is in Palm Coast, Florida, is amazing because it's on the ocean, and there's 2 courses there, so it's phenomenal. And I have Karen Jansen from Cardio Golf. She comes down to co-coach, as well as Dr. Rob Neal, who's with Wedgecraft. So they come down for those camps because they're bigger, and it's really nice to have the additional coaches because they bring a different perspective. Karen Jansen has her Cardio Golf, which is amazing.
Neat.
It's a way to practice your swing without hitting a ball. And then Dr. Rob Neal is phenomenal. He's a biomechanic guy. I've known him for 20 years. Phenomenal. So it's nice to have the mix as well.
So, Christina, let's talk a little bit about these locations. So right now, we're in the June, July, September, October kind of snack pack of New England, More Pars New England. Tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, so I coach locally at Atkinson Resort and Country Club, which is 40 miles north of Boston. It's my home course. It's where I learned to play. We have a full state-of-the-art academy. It's awesome. So whether it's sunny or raining, it doesn't matter. You'll still get more pars. It also has a 18-hole course, a par 3 course. So it's really great. The par 3 is so awesome. I take them out there so we can focus on short game. So that's New England. And then this fall, I'll head down to Fripp Island, South Carolina, which is really good. Have you been there?
I have not, but tell me about it. So that's really in October, cool. November. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. I've been there once and I really liked it. So I want to go back. And then I'll do hammock. And then and then January starts the hammock camps again. And then Arizona in the spring. Okay, so you
do something October, November, and then take off December, and then start up again in
January. January, February, March. Go January through April are my real busy times for Florida and Arizona. I just got back from Arizona. I was there for 6 weeks. So wow. Arizona's a biggie.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Florida is too. Yeah, who doesn't like Arizona?
I know.
I'm parched when I'm out there, though.
It's dry.
I'm so used to New England. I'm like, oh my God, I'm parched.
Yeah, it's definitely dry. So one of the things, Christina, that I wanted your commitment to really and truly caring and giving a damn about your clients and your students, it's really evident. One of the coolest things you do for me is you send swing tips every Saturday via email. So every single Saturday, whoever is part of your program is going to get some sort of instructional help each week.
Yeah, it's my tip of the week. And I started it in 2008. And I've had people with me since 2008 receiving their tip every Saturday.
That's really cool.
Awesome. Yeah, it's just, I guess what people like about my tips, and the reason why I'm saying this is because of the comments. They like them because they're short and they get right to the point. A lot of the tips out there are awesome, but they milk it. Because on YouTube they want to stay on there longer for the ads. So I keep mine real short, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes typically, and they really like that. They appreciate it. They're like, yeah, you get right to it.
I love that.
Now, no messing around.
Now you mentioned your book earlier. So have you written multiple books now?
Oh yeah. So I've written. I went deep with that. Let's see. I started with the pink, and then I went to the yellow. Then I had a green book, which was marketed to men and women. And then I stopped printing the pink one because my audience grew into it started off with females, and then it moved to, men and women.
So give us some titles. Like, what's the yellow one called? Not Yellow Book.
Yeah, it's not in print anymore, so it doesn't matter. Those were the survival guides. Okay. Those are the girls' encore survival guides. So I replaced them with my new books. What do you think my new books are titled?
Survival Guide, More Pars.
Yeah, they're called More Pars.
Yeah.
That's it. More Pars.
I like it. Let's keep it simple.
Yeah, More Pars long game, More Pars short game. And they're like 396 pages, small, cover to cover photos, yes, no, step 1, 2, 3. And now I just have those. I have 3 books. For the avid player, I have More Pars long game, More Pars short game. And then I have one for brand new players. Just one book that has both tee to green.
I love it.
It's just one book.
Like a Golf 101.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's perfect. And now, Amazon, where can people buy these books? And we got to give out your website. I know we got to get into some of these training. You can't find some of your stuff without some training something in there that you're using, and it looks super fun, so we got to talk about that too.
Yeah, my training aids. So you can get my books on Amazon, and then morepars.com. You go there too.
Right on. ChristinaRicciGolf.com is also
nope, just do morepars.com.
Morepars.com. Okay. How about your training aids? Tell us a little bit about them and how you use them. Do you have a favorite? Like most of my friends, I'm not a training aid guy, but most of my friends that are, they have a favorite.
Well, I have a whole line of training aids, like a ton. I went nuts on that, like crazy. I couldn't stop once I started. I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh, I'll just do one. And then I have like a whole line of putting, a ton for putting, short game and long game. And the ones that I really like, I mean, there's so many of them. So I'm a big proponent for the long game, engaging. I'm a big proponent of posture in the golf swing.
Yeah.
A lot of players miss hit the ball because they don't get into a good posture, number one, and then they don't stay in posture. Now, obviously, you got to identify why, but I find that a lot of players focus too much on the hips and not enough on the butt. So I have what I call the butt move that really helps players. I know, but
I love it. Keep going. This is great.
Yeah, so players typically kind of spin their hips or trying to clear their hips. All right, instead of engaging their glute muscles, which in turn is going to help them leverage the ground, which in turn is going to help them keep them in their posture. All right, and really get their arm structure in front of their body versus getting caught behind, standing up out of their posture because they're not leveraging the ground, because they never engage their butt. So I'm a big proponent of that. So I have training aids for that. I have the butt move trainer. And ironically, I had today this young guy and his dad is 82. And I was like blown away because he's like a 20-year-old and he moves like a 20-year-old and he's 82. And they both came in, and Chad, he's a 3 handicap, and he's like, Christina, I want to thank you. He's actually deeper than a 3. He said I was a 3.7, and then I was not really hitting it solid. I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I found your butt move videos on YouTube, and he's like, I went from a 3.7 to a 0.7.
Wow.
Just on the butt move. And I'm like, that's hard to do. You know, when you're that low to go that, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
That's
a
and then
tough
to drop
level.
it.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
for sure.
And he came in today, and I took him to the next level. He did that all on his own. I never gave him a lesson. And then he finally came in because he's from Maryland, and he came in, he flew up, and I gave him and his dad a lesson, and I really got him deeper into his butt. He was pumped.
That is fantastic, and that's on moreparts.com as well. Yeah.
I'm fine tuning that, so that's going to go live on Amazon in a couple weeks.
Moreparts.com is where they can find out about you. They can find
everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
they can find out about these cool camps. We got South Carolina, we've got New England, we've got Florida, and then there's Arizona later in the next year, and moreparts.com is where they go.
Yeah, that's just the one-stop shop, and then everything will take them there. I have a streaming channel too, moreparts.tv, but they can just go to moreparts.com and everything is there. That's
fantastic. Hey, Christina, thank you so much for the time. More importantly, though, because one of my things that I'm committed to is trying to grow the game, and the passion you have, the love you have, and the love that you're giving to all of your students in the world, the universe out there, it's just awesome. So thanks for what you're doing, and thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jay. I really appreciate it. It was a pleasure.
Making the Turn was brought to you by Pro-Am Golf. See what Pro-Am Golf can do for you. Up next, we head to the back nine. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Do you remember the golden rule? I'm sure you do, but just in case, it goes like this. Treat people the way that you'd like to be treated. At People's National Bank, that one statement is the cornerstone of what this bank is all about. Locally owned, with 23 locations in Southern Illinois and the metropolitan St. Louis area, People's National Bank parlays a robust menu of commercial or personal banking services you could possibly need with a friendly yet hardworking Midwestern attitude. Maybe you just want to do business with a bank whose entire team lives in the same neighborhoods as we do. If you're like me and doing business with someone you trust is important to you, then People's National Bank is the bank for you. Jason Rantham, local president, is here for you to call, and he'll answer any questions you may have. His personal cell is 314-974-2243. You can also find us online at peoplesnationalbank.com. People's National Bank is here for all of your banking needs.
For the best in Italian cuisine in St. Louis, look no further than Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield. It's traditional Italian cooking, and their best ingredient It's their tradition. It's cooking like Paul's grandmother used to make and like his mother still prepares today. There are no corners cut at Paul Mano's. From greeting you at the door to the pasta you'll share with your family, Paul Mano's is committed to bringing you their very best anytime you share a meal at their place. It's Paul Mano's, located in Chesterfield.
I am proud to welcome the Gateway section of the PGA back to my show. Whether you're pulling into your favorite driving range, public golf course, or country club, there is an excellent chance that the staff there is part of the over 300 men and women PGA professionals at over 100 facilities that make up our Gateway section. I grew up watching so many of these fine men and women getting to the golf course at dawn, leaving at dusk, spending their entire day running events, giving lessons, and growing this great game. PGA Reach, Drive, Chip, and Putt, PGA Hope, and the fantastic PGA Junior League are a few of the examples of the programs run by these same PGA professionals. Go to gatewaypga.org to learn more, or to find your next PGA professional for your next lesson, go to pga.com. The Gateway PGA, growing the game we love.
Family Golf and Learning Center. No matter your age or skill level, Family Golf and Learning Center, located in Kirkwood, has something for you. They've got it all: PGA and LPGA instruction, double-decker driving range, par 3 golf course, TrackMan simulators, a large short game green design to help you with all your shots around the green, bunkers, rough, and Zoysia fairway pitching. And now open the Tahoma Bermuda Grass Tees, the best turf to hit from in St. Louis. It's all at Family Golf and Learning Center. To schedule a lesson or to find out more, visit FamilyGolfOnline.com. That's FamilyGolfOnline.com. Family Golf and Learning Center. We make St. Louis better at golf.
So you've been hearing me talk about one of our community's greatest contributors and most philanthropically inclined companies. Yes, of course, I'm talking about Marcone. They're the largest distributor of General Electric appliance parts in North America. Did you know that Marcone is also the largest and most trusted supplier of commercial and residential appliance parts, HVAC, plumbing, commercial kitchens, and pools and spas? All of that's in North America as well. That's right, Marcone does all that. Marcone is committed to supporting our first responders, all the branches of service in our military, our police and firefighters, and many more. From the viewing deck at the Ascension Charity Classic, founded in honor of our military heroes, to their commitment to Reese Across America program, Marcone is here for you and your family as well as your community. That's Marcone, the official sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
This is the Back Nine. The Back Nine is brought to you by Car Shield. Now let's get back to Jay and Dan.
Golf with Jay Delsing rolls on this Father's Day. Great to have you with us. We do this every Sunday, 8 to 10 on 101 ESPN. Enjoyed your visit with Christina Ricci. Again, coming up, it'll be Curtis Strange, two-time U.S. Open champ. But let's talk a little bit about local golfers and those that are training with Elevate Golf.
Yeah, absolutely. The Elevate training system over at Elevate Golf is remarkable. We've had Zach, we've had Tyler on. Zach is the director of instruction, and Tyler is the director of fitness over there. And it's a thorough. They're really kind of just trying to disrupt the way people take lessons, and they've got this remote feature where you can send them numbers. They can, send them some data that they're using and requiring, and they'll feed it back to you and talk about what the things you're working on and some of your tendencies. It's really a great way to go. But we've got some really good play going on by some of these students over there. We're going to start with the 13 and under division for the boys. Leo Miller shot 1 over par, 13 years old, shot 1 over par at Gateway National to qualify, and also shot even par for the Optimist International Junior Championship that he's going to Durrell. And your daughter Avery McLaughlin qualified for that as well, shooting a 73. Very, very good. Cole Packingham, he is 16 years old, shot 2 over par and won the IMG Academy Junior World Qualifier. So he's headed to Torrey Pines. And then he turned around and shot 2 under par at Gateway National, finishing 3rd for the PGA Junior Qualifying National Championship. So that's pretty awesome. Aiden Steinmetz, he is 18, won the Gateway Junior Qualifying at Crystal Quarry at the Quarry at Crystal Springs. And this is really remarkable. This young lady, Haley Castillo, she's 13. She won the IMG Academy Junior World Qualifying, so she's headed to Torrey Pines. She won by 17.
Wow.
She won by 17 strokes, Danny. Then she went and won a 36-hole event at Crystal Springs and she won the entire thing, beat the 18 and under girls as well. So tipping a cap to that young lady, Haley Castillo. And lastly, we have Casey Lennox, 17. She also is headed to Torrey Pines she won the IMG Academy Junior Qualifying by 8 strokes. So she's headed to Torrey Pines. So the proof is in the pudding. These guys are playing better golf. Their games are getting better, and they're using Elevate Golf to do it. And the cool thing is, Danny, it's obvious to go hit balls inside when the weather's lousy. But you know what? Sometimes it's okay to run. Hey, I'm going to go in. I'm going to jump in over there. I'm going to see where I am. And then I'm going to go play and work things out on the golf course. So there's lots of different applications for how this can work.
So those are the amateurs. Now let's go back to the pro game, some of the news and notes from this past week. How about Scotty Scheffler? 13 starts. He has made over $24 million, roughly $1.8 million per start, and he's winning the biggest tournaments you can win on tour.
What about his caddy?
Teddy's made a lot of money.
Teddy's in the top 10.
Yes.
Teddy's yes, just absolutely fantastic. Ted and I were texting. Did you see the milkshake dance?
I loved it. I loved it. Milkshakes at the Memorial.
Milkshakes at the Memorial are
renowned.
They're legendary and renowned. Absolutely. I think one year Mike Hulbert had 13 there or something like that. He's a skinny little guy. And anyway, what can you say about Scotty Scheffler? You know, it's just absolutely amazing. I got such a kick out of, Jack in the broadcast booth in that last 2 hours of the coverage, and he got emotional, and then, Scotty Scheffler shaking hands with Jack and Barbara. I mean, that stuff is so cool. Then you got his son, his wife Meredith's out there, his son is there, and it's just it's pretty cool time for golf right now. He's really, really, really dominating.
And I think it's a good thing for golf.
I do too, Danny.
I think it's a good thing.
Yep.
Big name, domination. It's a Tiger-esque type of run with everything that's happened with Liv, some of the top players not there. I think it's a good thing for golf.
No, 100%. And look, when Scotty Scheffler putts well, he runs off and hides from everybody. When he putts okay, he wins. When he putts poorly, he challenges. So, I mean, the ball striking, it's so weird too, because that doesn't make a whole lot of sense when I watch that footwork and everything, but I'm getting used to it. And that ball, man, it's impressive, the control he has.
The gap in total world golf ranking points between Scheffler and Rory is the same gap between Rory and the world's 613th ranked player. That is an amazing statistic to me.
It really is. And I mean, we're starting to approach. Now, listen, he's got to do this he's got another 11 years or so to try to equal what Tiger's done. But we're starting to see that gap widen so much between 1 and 2, Danny, that's what we were seeing when Tiger was dominating. And it's really, really, Scotty Scheffler. I read something the other day, Danny, that when he was a junior, he won like 100 and something tournaments out of, I don't know. It was a crazy number, and I screw these up all the time. But it was like he won 110 tournaments out of 130 or something as a junior golfer.
It's incredible. So he's used to winning.
Yep.
I mean, you win at that level. You go to the pro level. You've conditioned yourself in some ways to saying, I'm going to win. I'm going into a tournament to beat you. The thing that I get a kick out of is that he's got this demeanor that's very calm, very collected, but yet he's a killer.
Oh, he
is a killer, man.
He is a killer. He kill you with that smile and that kind of shrug, that little boyish grin. It was interesting because I heard this week in his pre-start press conferences, a little young kid was in the crowd, and he said,
Saw that, yeah.
Mr. Scheffler, how are you doing, when you made triple bogey last week or something like that, it didn't seem like you were mad or frustrated. And Scotty laughs. He goes, great question. I was mad and frustrated, but I'm
Right.
glad you didn't know,
Right.
because he didn't show it. And that's that kind of poker face. And that's the sort of thing that you cannot let your opponents know that this is getting to you. And Danny, this week, you're going to see guys just wave the white flag.
I want to go back to Rory if we can just for a moment. And you mentioned Jack Nicklaus being in the booth at the Memorial, which I love. Love to get his insight on the game today, also some of his past accomplishments. But one of the things he said about Rory, he said he could win majors into the teens. Remember he said that a few years ago, probably about 10 years ago. It hasn't happened. And he also went into one of the reasons that he thinks this is the mental side of the game and how hard it is, the mental side of being a professional golfer. And he specifically talked about that with Rory.
Yeah, Danny, and I thought that was brilliant because it looks as if Rory has these little lapses and then all of a sudden doesn't have the awareness to back off, reset, start over, whatever. And so he'll wing one, off into the nethers, and he'll be like, oh boy, here comes a double bogey. And you'll see that. And because when you watch what he did at the Wells Fargo, he just looked like a different, like a different player.
Just domination.
Yeah, it looked so effortless, and it's that driver so beautifully. And when he's rolling putts in, everything just looks simple but for whatever reason, maybe there's been a lot on his mind because of the stuff off the golf course. Now he and his wife are back together. There's no divorce. This kind of fits and suits what he's been up against lately. I hate Liv. I love Let's Have Liv. I don't want to be on Liv, but we want the guys back. He's been all over the place, and now he filed for divorce on May 13th, and now he and his wife have reconciled, which whatever he wants. Yeah. I don't care. I'm just saying there's this pattern of almost indecision, where you're kind of waffling back and forth. And obviously your marriage is a much bigger decision in which club to hit here and there, but it might speak a little bit to the mindset.
Okay, I want to get into our guest last week. Barbara Nicklaus, pretty big news. Barbara Nicklaus will be the 2025
How about that?
Memorial honoree.
That's
really
the
cool.
coolest. That is the coolest ever. The first non-golfer to ever be honored at the Memorial Tournament. And who would you want to lead that pack but Barbara?
She's the one.
She's it. I mean, Danny, what she has done for humanity, for families, for children, it just speaks for itself. And she is the mother of all golf and all golfers. And man, we are so fortunate to have her as helping us push our ball.
How about Linnea Strom, final round 60 to win the ShopRite LPGA Classic last weekend. She was the third group off on the final day, puts up a 60. It just goes to show you just don't know what may happen.
Danny won. It's a remarkable round, and I did that one year at Memphis. I was off early in the morning. Wasn't the third group off, but I shot 61, and I went from I don't know where the hell I was to like top 5 or top 8 or something like that,
sure.
Whatever. And so you're absolutely right. You don't know when all those putts are going to go in, and when they do, you're just glad to have it. So it was that day. It was like, man, if I could play another 9 holes, I think I might be able to win it. I know I could catch everybody. So it's just one of those things. It's super fun, and you just never know. And it just goes to show you, folks, how difficult it is to win out there. Because I can promise you that those leaders and the last 3 or 4 groups that were going off in the ShopRite, nobody was thinking about that until that popped up on the board.
How about Padraig Harrington and Sandra Palmer inducted into the Golf Hall of Fame?
Yeah, well deserved. Sandra Palmer, in my opinion, is long overdue. What she did for the women's game, and she was just one of those kind of bastions of the game. Just she was a stud, and she had so her fingerprint into so much of the early LPGA, and it's great to see Sandra going in. And then Padraig, I love the guy. I mean, he's in his mid-50s now, early to mid-50s. I think he's either 53 or 54, and he just hasn't slowed down. He's playing a ton. He's playing all over the world. You listen to some of his YouTube stuff, and he's got tons of energy, and he's frank, he's honest, and he's great. He's won 2 majors. He deserves it.
You were telling me at the Ascension Charity Classic, and I don't remember what hole it was. It's on the back 9, but you said you saw him just still pounding the golf ball off the tee.
Number 11. He had 3-wood off the 11th tee onto the green. And I'm like, I got to hit driver and need a couple of good bounces. and that was just incredible. And some of the other shots he's hit, he's worked on getting longer and increase his speed and power. And man, has he used it. And he's not slowing down. I love it. I mean, it's well deserved and right on Padre.
Coming up, Curtis Strange, a guy you're pretty close with.
Yeah, love him. I absolutely loved him. I competed against him a lot. He was hard-nosed. He's gritty. He won 2 U.S. Opens back-to-back, and I think 17 or 18 championships on the PGA Tour. He's a Hall of Famer as well, and I really enjoy his commentary. He's got a frankness about him, Danny, with the way that he does his broadcasting that I really enjoy.
But he's subtle.
Yeah.
He just makes the point, gets out of the way. Yeah. I like that. I appreciate that.
I do too. He's not wordy like me.
Or me. Hey, we can fill 2 hours with golf talk. You can fill anything.
You guys, you know it, man. You know it.
This is Golf with Jay Delsing. Coming up, the World Golf Hall of Famer, 2-time U.S. Open champ, Curtis Strange. We're coming to you from the CarShield Studios. And as always, we're brought to you by Daugherty Business Solutions.
That was the Back 9, presented by Elevate Golf. Get your golf game in shape with Elevate Golf.
Professional golfer, as you watch on TV every Sunday afternoon, never ventures onto the course without his trusted caddy. This was true for me for my entire career. I want you to think of Powers Insurance as your insurance caddy that you never had. Just as my golf caddy helped me to assess risk on the golf course, Powers Insurance can do the same for you in your busy and complicated life. Tim Davis, COO at Powers Insurance, did exactly that for me and saved me over 50% on one of my coverages. A good insurance risk advisor can help you know when to take a chance or when it may be smarter to take a little more club. Give the folks at Powers Insurance a call and get a caddy for all of your insurance needs. Call them at 314-725-1414. That's 314-725-1414. That's Powers Insurance.
Get ready to watch the legends of golf up close when they compete at historic Norwood Hills Country Club right here in St. Louis. The Ascension Charity Classic will be back again with some of golf's biggest names: Steve Stricker, Padraig Harrington, John Daly, David Duval, Bernard Langer, Ernie Els, and more. Will return September 3rd through the 8th at Norwood Hills. All tournament proceeds go to area charities serving North St. Louis County youth and families. Sponsorship opportunities, Pro-Am foursomes, and more information available for you at AscensionCharityClassic.com.
Hey, Jay Delsing here, and I know I speak for all of we golfers. We're always looking to try to improve our game. For me, that means I go to one place, and that one place is Pro-Am Golf in Brentwood. Tom DeGrand opened his family business in 1975 with a goal of providing St. Louis with the finest in golf equipment, instruction, and technology. Whether you need a new rangefinder, your first set of clubs, or anything else you can think of, Pro-Am Golf has just what you're looking for. If you're a scratch handicap or you carry a 20 handicap, come visit Pro-Am Golf and inquire about a lesson from Tom DeGrand. He's been fixing golf swings and making St. Louis better at golf for over 40 years. Go get your gear, lessons, or anything golf related where I go, and that's Pro-Am Golf in Brentwood. You can also visit them online at Pro-Am Golf USA. That's ProAmGolfUSA.com. It's Pro-Am Golf, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
This is Paul Lazinger, and you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Hey, this is Jay Delsing for SSM Health Physical Therapy. Our golf program has the same screening techniques and technology as the pros on the PGA Tour use. SSM Health Physical Therapy has the Titleist Performance Institute trained physical therapists that can perform the TPI screening on you, as well as use the K-Vest 3D motion capture system. Proper posture, alignment, etc. can help you keep your game right down the middle. We have 80 locations in the St. Louis area. Call 800-518-1626 or visit them on the web at ssmphysicaltherapy.com. Your therapy, our passion.
You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing. Have a question for Jay? Log on to jdelsinggolf.com. Now let's head back to Jay and Dan.
What a thrill it is to visit with 17-time PGA Tour winner of back-to-back U.S. Opens and World Golf Hall of Famer, Curtis Strange. And I know, Jay, we've been trying to get him on the podcast, and this is a thrill for you, too.
Oh, my gosh. Anytime we can get someone like Curtis. Curtis, thanks so much for joining us, man. We really appreciate it.
Hey, anything for you, Jay. You were a good friend for many years. Still are.
Curtis, one of the great accomplishments in the game of golf, back-to-back U.S. Open championships. So I'm curious, is it more special knowing that anybody can qualify and you win that golf tournament as opposed to invitation only for a particular golf tournament?
Oh, it's special because it's our national championship, and that's first and foremost. It's the biggest tournament that I or Jay could win. I think any of these elevated events with the top 50 players in the world would be pretty special because you are beating the best in the world. And whenever you win a tournament and it's a good field, there's a little bit on the play ride home. There's a little bit of extra satisfaction there. At first, beer goes down a little bit smoother. You know what I mean? They're all special. The tour is so good, and so many talented guys are all special. But to win the U.S. Open, anybody can qualify. It's nice, but it's special because it's our national championship, and it is one of the best fields of the year.
Curtis, when I was a little boy, there wasn't a day that didn't go along where I didn't have a putt to win our national Open. It was always the top of the list for me.
You know, and me too, Jay. And the reason being for me is that, you know, it could have been very well the Masters, because when I was young, my dad was a club pro, and he had a little tiny black and white TV in the corner of the golf shop. And, you know, we always watch a few minutes of the Masters and a little bit of the U.S. Open because it wasn't on TV a whole lot back in the day. You know, it would be easy because you saw the Masters on TV. But my dad played in 6 U.S. Opens, and he was a good player. And so I always come back with the memories and the stories of seeing Trevino for the first time, or Trevino or Venturi in '64, that kind of stuff. And so I kind of went over to the U.S. Open as you did, and every afternoon late there'd be 4 balls out there, and, you know, for the U.S. Open. Absolutely the same story.
What are the parts of the game that you see that really stand out on how much it's changed from when you're winning back-to-back U.S. Opens to what you see now in 2023?
Well, the most obvious is the distance, but they still have to get the ball in the hole. And what I like to watch is their short games around the greens and the putting. I think they're so much better than we were. Conditions obviously a little bit better. In the 60-degree wedge certainly helped in the last 25 years, but they chip the ball so well, and they putt the ball so well. And the putting part of it is where they have improved because they work on it a whole lot more than we did. You know, I'd hit balls after every round for 30, 40, 50 minutes or an hour, and they go putt for 5 minutes. It's ass backwards. We should have putted for 30 or 40 minutes and hit balls for 5 minutes, because that's where you score. If I had to do it all over again, Jay, I'd hit half as many balls and I'd putt the remaining part of the time. But that's not the sexy, fun part of the game. So, but that's where you score, and that's where they look like, to me, they're so good around the greens.
Curtis, I would have never tried to change my swing like I did and lower my hands and all this other stuff because I was so homemade and never had any lessons. And I would have just worked on my short game, like you said, figured out how to use the bounce of the wedge, in my first 2 years on tour instead of taking me 15 and all this other stupid stuff that I spent time on.
But we didn't know. And like I said, if knowing what I know now, I would have done that. But that's you don't know that. And we didn't take putting as a real science like our swings back in the day. Dave Peltz was the one that brought it to light years ago, the short game guru, engineer, scientist, smart guy. Now they have the machines at home. They have the TrackMan for putting. They have all the gadgets out there on the putting green. You saw this past week at the Masters. And that's all a good thing. I wasn't a gimmick guy with my swing too much. But on the putting green, I think it's a great thing to check your alignment every single day and to check your speed and to check your ability to read the green. Things like that, that's where I think they've taken a very, very important part of the game to the next level, unlike us.
Yeah, Curtis, and I don't know, I guess it's just because of Tiger and all the attention and all the money. You look back at a putting green back in our day, and you might have 3 or 4 people putting on it. You look at a tour event now, and it looks like families are camping out there.
I know. You're right, but it's just that was the next step, and I think the next step might be more mental, because it is a game 80% mental. Really, when you think about it, you have so much time to think. But the guys have the sports psychologist. I think it's fantastic if somebody's telling you how damn good you are every time you turn around. Where does it go from here? You know what? They're just going to be bigger and better athletes. I'm waiting for the next guy, Jay, who's a little bit taller than you. Not a lot, but he's going to be about 6'10". His hand's going to be at the top of the roof, and he's going to have a great ability to play the game. And just think how far that ball is going to go. And it's not going to be equipment or ball. It's going to be his ability to swing the club much faster than most everybody else.
You mentioned television earlier. Curtis, did you enjoy that run? And you still do a little bit. And you're pretty blunt in your assessment. You're one of the great analysts the game has seen. Did you really enjoy that? Or was that something that you looked at and said, yeah, this is something I really enjoy and I want to get better and better, and you did. Is it something, though, that you enjoyed?
Yes, I do. It's a team game over there in the compound. It's you get very close, you work together, you try to make each other look good. And I had great help initially in '97 with Mike Tirico, and worked 8 years with him. I learned when I went in the booth at 42 years old, it was a big decision. But I could play and do TV. That's why I did it. But I learned, and now it's a challenge to get better. And I'm still very average. You're very nice in your words, but I still try to get better. And the reason I'm not very good because my vocabulary is not as big as some. Okay, so I kind of get into the meat and potatoes of the game. Jim Nance, I'm not. But I can tell you how to play the game and how to play the golf course and what I see from this player. I really, really enjoyed it. And then I really got to love it when I was 53 and went back to ESPN, and we had 7 or 8 tournaments a year, did the Open Championship, do the early golf, Masters, PGA. It's a challenge to learn how to say something more concise and clear every day. Timing is such a big thing in golf. Silence is the greatest sound in golf. Silence. Let's set it up and let it play. Set Jace Delsing up, second shot 15 from 153, wind down to the right, and shut up and let him play. And that's the attitude I take. And so I really do enjoy it. The Masters kind of beats me up. We have such long hours. I'm not a morning person, okay? Anyway, I had a 7 a.m. Sports Center hit Sunday morning. I went, wow, how can I even function at that time? But anyway, it's good stuff. It's fun. And, you try to bring the game closer to the viewer.
So in doing that, and the Masters did show it, and other events have shown it, do you like the idea of being able to visit with a player in the middle of the round? Do you think that's a good thing for the sport?
I think what I just said, it brings the game closer. It brings the game closer to the viewer.
Yeah.
I think it's been wonderful if you get the right personality. And, it's all done beforehand. So that when the guy does it, he's already agreed and he's going to be on point. I would never do it. Never. Because I think it's disruptive a little bit. And Max Homa is that personality that loves to do it. He's done it and he's fantastic at it. I was taken aback a little bit on Friday or Saturday when Rory McIlroy did it, Friday I think, and on the 9th hole, and they were talking to him when he was pulling his club out of the bag. And then he talked to him as soon as he hit the shot. I get walking down the fairway, but not when you get close to your ball. Okay, thanks so much, Roy. Have a good day. But anyway, that's their call, and they do what they want to do, and it's pretty good because we always, in any sport, we want to just see the guy speak to the camera, and it's fun to hear what they have to say.
Curtis, one of the things that jumps out at me is the better athletes that are playing the game. To your point a few minutes ago about a taller guy, a stronger guy, we are getting athletes that are playing the game, and it's taking it to a different spot, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to get offended by saying they're better athletes because, you and I played high school ball and some intramural stuff in college possibly, and I thought we had some really damn good athletes in our day. Some were better than others, put it that way. But, we all were good athletes. Now they truly are, and athletes are getting better. Their hand-eye coordination's better. Their training is better. Their body is bigger and stronger and faster and jumps higher. And it's the way it should be. But they really are. They have this ability to play the game with the strength and size. That's why I wonder what this new ball is going to do. It's, the game is the game. And bigger guys are going to hit a golf ball farther than a small guy. So trying to rein in a golf ball, it brings in more questions than it answers. But anyway, we want to go there. But yeah, they're good. They're big. I mean, John Rahm, Scotty Scheffler, 6'4". Hell, if you're not 6'3" or 6'4" anymore, I don't know if you can be a top 10 player in the world.
So, Curtis, you win, and here we are talking to a guy that wins back-to-back U.S. Open championships. You led the money list multiple times. You won the NCAA championship as a single, and then you win it twice with the team. It may be a crazy question, but where does that rank on some of the accomplishments that you've had in professional golf, but also what you've done at the NCAA level?
It's not crazy at all. I hold those near and dear. It's right there in my memory bank that I'll never forget. We were so young, we didn't know what we'd accomplished at the time. It was the first time Wake Forest had won a team championship, and I happened to do it as a freshman. And you don't know, but I tell people all the time, when I called home that afternoon after winning, my mother cried, and she never cried before. It was a big deal, and that was my first realization of what it was. And so whenever NCAA rolls around, I watch the individual big time, because and now my understanding is the Masters and going forward is going to invite the NCAA individual champion every year. And I think that's absolutely tremendous, much like they invite the U.S. Amateur and the runner-up every year. And they were both there last year. And, of course, Sam
Bennett.
Yeah, Bennett, the U.S. Amateur, won low amateur. And what a week he had. But and you know what? He flew home. And y'all don't know this. He flew home privately Sunday night after playing 4 rounds of the Masters, finishing like 15th or 17th. And he had to play 36 holes yesterday in a college event. He was fired up and full of energy. I know that. It was good for him to play. But, the NCAA is big. It's the biggest thing you can play in other than the U.S. Amateur in the day when you're a kid. It was exciting. Team event was exciting, and it's something I'll never forget.
If someone came to us while we were playing and said, we're going to roll the golf ball back, it would mean redoing every aspect of your game, even from a 40-yard, 50-yard pitch shot's going to react differently with that ball. It's a big challenge to try to do something like that.
Well, it's a big challenge too. I don't think rolling a ball back so many yards would be that big a deal. You just learn the yardage. But the spin's going to be different than the ball you play now, because it's going to be one ball for everyone. The spin will be consistent. Everybody plays a different spinny ball now. Different balls, different manufacturers, different hardnesses of the ball. Everybody's got it dialed into their own particular clubs. So that's the part of the game, chipping around the greens, how far the ball goes, maybe not so much, how much it spins offline, maybe some. There's different tiny aspects of the game, as we know, that will be affected. Will they learn how to play the ball fairly quickly? Yes, I think so. But what does it do to who plays it, who doesn't play it? All the mini tours around the world. What about college? What about the NCAA? They want to play the ball the pros play, I would think. What about the women? What about the juniors? I just don't know how they're going to do this, but they're determined to do it. So we'll have to wait and see. But I think the pros are so damn good. I don't think it's going to affect them that much.
Curtis, you mentioned the pride that you had in winning the U.S. Open, being from the United States. The Ryder Cup, you had a huge hand in that as a player, and you captained the Ryder Cup in 2002. On a personal level, what did that mean to you?
It's the greatest honor I've ever had for Sarah and myself to lead this team, to be captain. Best week we've ever had together, being over at the Belfry, without hitting a shot. It was tremendous. It was great, hectic. It was nerve-wracking. 12 players look at you and listen to you. It means a lot. The only difference was we didn't win, but that's on them. but anyway, it was great leading up to it. And, unfortunately that was during 9/11. So we were delayed a year. So, but it was great. We had a ball. And then of course playing is, I loved team sports in high school. The team aspect, it doesn't get any better because you're playing for somebody other than yourself. You've got to keep up your end of the bargain on the team. And the same goes in the Ryder Cup. Your partner that you're playing with that particular day, your other 11 teammates, your captain, playing for your country. It's a great honor and a great thrill, and it's a hell of a lot of fun.
Do have a question. I'll wrap it up with this on my side of things, and correct me if I'm wrong, Curtis, but you shot a 62 on the old course, and the old course obviously has changed since that time. Can you explain to an average golfer a 62 and how locked in you have to be to do something like that?
Well, I thank you for bringing that up because, memories aren't just winning tournaments or losing tournaments. It's things like that, shots you hit on under the gun that mean a lot. Whenever I ask me the best shot you ever hit or whatever, it's not the shot on Tuesday. It's not the shot on Thursday or Friday. It's the shot that meant the most, that you pulled off. Shooting 62 at St. Andrews is something that, gosh, it was a great day. I was playing, it was actually a consolation match at the Dunhill Cup team event. I was playing Norman. It was still in competition. I got going that day and birdied the last. And I knew what I had to do. I knew what the record was, 63. And the last hole not being a hard one, but you still got to hit a driver and a little wedge on the green and make a putt. So it was exciting to be able to do that on the old course, is just to play the old course in the Open or the Dunhill Cup, just to be over there. My Walker Cup team in 74 played the old course at St. Andrews. I was 18 years old. Really? Where have you brought me?
Wow.
To the moon, to the other side of the moon? And then you learn to love this place, and it was great to be able to go back all the years. And I almost went back. Sarah and I almost went back this past year just because it would have been our last time there. Hopefully I get back another time, but it's just a place it's the home of golf. That's all you have to say.
Curtis, sometimes when I think about some of the people I got to play with, some of the places I got to play with, and at the age, it just doesn't make any sense because I had no appreciation for what this game did for me and the people and the competition, the places it took me. I wound up, looking around, and then maybe 2 or 3 or 10 years later, I go, how the hell did that happen to me?
You know what? It's a great point you make. I think we're all appreciate it sitting in the chair talking to each other like this more than we ever did at the time. You got on an airplane, you went to the next week. You played that week, you got on an airplane and went to the next week, or you drove. And it was one thing after another for 20 or 25 years, and you never stopped. You didn't think of it. That wasn't your job. Your job was to make ends meet for the family, provide for the family, try to get home from soccer games or whatever it might be, and move on again. But now to go back and think about what you just said, places you've been, people you've met, friends you've made and still have. To me, my dear friends still are players I played against because we had so much in common. But the friends you make around the world, and especially in the country, tournament directors, volunteers you might meet, airline pilots that you see often, flying to and from Cincinnati all the time. It really does. It's you have to pinch yourself sometimes, don't you, Jay?
You really do. And one of the last things I just had for you, Curtis, that I know happened in our generation, it doesn't happen anymore, is you were a natural left-hander. I can always remember having lunch with you, and I'd watch you eat with your left hand, and I'm like, what the hell? This guy's totally confused because he's a world-class player right-handed, but he's eating left-handed.
No, you just hit the nail on the head. Totally confused. I've been fooling them for 40 years. I fell through the cracks in first grade. They didn't switch me over. I'm actually dominant right side, but I do a lot of things: kick left-footed, right left-handed, shoot a gun left-handed, shoot a bow right-handed. Figure that out. So I kind of look at things from I don't. I just It's just what happened. And I hit a baseball right-handed and play golf right-handed. So is it an advantage? No. I can't get it off the ground left-handed.
Hey, Curtis, we'll let you go. You've given us so much time, and it's a thrill for both of us. I know for Jay, he speaks so highly of you, and for me, it's a thrill to visit with a two-time U.S. Open champion and one of the great players and a World Golf Hall of Famer. So thanks for doing this. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. The pleasure's all mine. I enjoy it. I enjoy talking about old times, talking to old friends like Jay, and thanks for having me.
We're heading into the clubhouse, and it's time to go into the mailbag. Tips from a PGA Tour player are coming up. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
Daugherty Business Solutions has been enhancing the business of our customers for the last 37 years. How do we do it? Through our expertise in technology, better use of data and analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. We roll up our sleeves and collaborate. We build applications and effectively communicate with our partner clients to bring their goals and objectives to the finish line. Our award-winning Access Point program is a community game changer. With nearly 100 students in the program, mostly young African-American females are making between $55,000 and $60,000 per year right out of high school. That's right, $55,000 to $60,000 a year right after high school graduation. That's when they begin their training. CEO Ron Daugherty believes the talent is equally distributed, but access to that opportunity is not. So here's Access Point, providing more and more opportunity for those in and around our community. It's Daugherty Business Solutions.
Hi, I'm Adam Betts, PGA professional and owner at Family Golf and Learning Center. We welcome golfers of all ages and abilities, from the junior golfer to the experienced players. From our indoor TrackMan simulators, large short game area, grass tees, and driving range bays, to our golf instruction, leagues, clinics, and camps, we connect you with every resource to reach your golfing goals. We look forward to helping you improve your golf game at Family Golf and Learning Center, where we make St. Louis better at golf. Visit us at familygolfonline.com. That's familygolfonline.com.
Are you driving an out-of-warranty car? It's only a matter of time before your out-of-warranty vehicle is in the shop costing you thousands of dollars. Auto repair costs are up nearly 20% from last year, which is 4 times the rate of inflation. If an unexpected breakdown happened today, would you be ready for that? Well, now you can be with a plan through CarShield. Even if your car is just over 3 years old, it's still prone to expensive costs. Your car is more than just getting you from point A to point B. Traveling by car is a way of life. From picking up your kids to going to a new restaurant, cars are a daily essential. When you enroll in a car protection plan through CarShield, you can look forward to the following. The price will never go up no matter how many claims you file, or no matter how high the mileage on your car increases. CarShield offers protection plans that start as low as $100 per month. That's $100 per month. They have repair coverage for up to 5,000 different parts of your vehicle. Plus, when your car breaks down and you're stuck on the side of the road, you get 24/7 coast-to-coast roadside assistance. You also get complimentary towing and rental car options. CarShield has my back when my car breaks down, and they can have yours too. Call CarShield today at 800-465-6550 or visit carshield.com. It's CarShield, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Hello, friends. This is Jim Nance, and you are listening to Golf with my friend Jay Delsing.
I'm delighted to welcome the Amateur Players Tour to the Golf with Jay Delsing show. The APT team has worked so hard to establish a national golf tour for amateurs. Folks, don't miss out on this opportunity. If you love golf and ever wondered what all the fuss about tournament golf is, then this tour is for you. We just released the 2024 schedule, and it is a beast. There's 21 events currently in the metropolitan St. Louis area, with many more to come. But check out these golf courses: Paynes Valley, Ozark National, Stonewolf, Ambrier, Persimmon Woods, Gateway National, and a 36-hole event on Norwood's West Course, and many more. Okay, so the courses are certainly cool and nice, but what's really neat is the way the events are run and how they are run. The APT team does a fantastic job of closely monitoring handicaps and ensuring a good and fair competition. There are 5 divisions, a year-long points competition, major championships, elevated events, and much, much more. Right now, there are over 6,000 members in 41 different local chapters across the country, and all that's happened in just over 5 years. Join now and don't miss out on the best tournament golf in the country, run for amateurs by amateurs themselves. Go to amateurplayerstour.com. That's amateurplayerstour.com.
Listening to Golf with Jay Delsing. Brought to you by Car Shield and Doherty Business Solutions. Every Sunday morning from 8 to 10. It features top guests, tips from a PGA Tour player, and the latest news and notes from around the world of golf. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
Golf with Jay Delsing on this Father's Day. That was fun to visit with two-time U.S. Open champion Curtis Strange. That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. This is our tip segment as we head down the stretch of Golf with Jay Delsing. And one of the things that you guys hit on, I thought it was incredible, but you would have spent more time putting, chipping, than you did pounding balls on tour. You would have changed it completely.
100%. I would have never, if I had a crystal ball and know what I know now, I would have never tried to change my swing. I would have worked on it, but never made I made 2 major overhauls. I would have not done that. And I would have learned how to pitch and chip and putt like Houdini if I could.
Wasn't that great hearing him, what the U.S. Open meant to him as opposed to the other 3 majors?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, what a gritty guy, and what a guy that, you could just see him draped in the red, white, and blue, and it just seems right, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about efficiency in practice. So don't just pound golf balls, but address areas where you're deficient.
No, 100%. I mean, let's not work harder. Let's work smarter. So one of the things about, we had mentioned earlier in the show about Elevate, one of the things that Elevate does, and Adam's doing the same thing. If you go down and get a lesson on the TrackMan or some of the beautiful tech that Adam has
at Family Golf,
at Family Golf and Learning Centers, is they track every shot, Danny, and so it helps to understand your patterns, right? When now you may think you know them by watching your range session outdoors, but it's not the same.
Steve in South City. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and that data has answers is what I'm saying. I don't want you folks to get crazy inundated and go nuts over this, but use it to let it help you work a little smarter and understand your game at a different level. That's all I'm talking about, and it'll make a huge difference.
Steve in South City wants to. I jumped the gun on you.
I love Steve. Steve's a regular in our mailbag, so I love it. Let's go, Steve.
How much of a divot should I be taking on my irons?
Wow, it's a good question. So, Steve, there is not a uniform answer for this, but here's how I'll answer your question. You'll take a bigger divot with your shorter irons than you will your longer irons. Those are going to be mostly swept off the ground a little bit. You'll still hit the ground, but you'll just brush it a little bit, where the shorter irons will have a tendency to be a little steeper. But, Steve, not everybody is a divot taker. We would have pickers or sweepers on the PGA Tour, as they're called, and they wouldn't take a lot of divots. Some guys take huge divots. I remember playing with Mark McCumber one time, and this dude took a divot. You could wear it as a toupee. I mean, it's like, meh. It's like when I played with Mark McCumber up in Flint, Michigan, and it's all bent grass, Danny. He could start a sod farm. He took a divot out. This thing was 2 feet long, and it flew 25 yards. And I was like, whew. Take that home with us, put it in the backyard. We got something there. So Steve, not everybody needs to take a divot, but the one thing you need to understand when in relation to your swing, the ball and the ground, the ball always, always, always gets hit first. Ball first, then ground contact, and see what the divots look like. Check your ball position. If you're not taking any sort of divot and you're thinking it might be wrong and you should be, your ball position may be too far forward. Doesn't matter if you're a left-hander or a right-hander, the ball may be too far forward, so check your ball position. Move it back, especially with some of the shorter irons. So just for review, we've talked about this before, ball position in your golf game. Start with your 6 and 7 iron, whether you're left-handed or right-handed, doesn't matter, middle of your stance. Your hands with your irons are always going to be ahead of the ball, always. And as you go to your 8, 9, and wedge, you move it towards your back foot a little bit. We're only talking about maybe a half an inch per club. And you do the opposite thing for your longer game. So for your 5 iron, your 4 iron, hopefully you're not hitting a 3 or anything in your hybrids. It goes up a little more towards your front foot. That's a good guide and a good indicator.
Any advice on how to hit out of a divot? So,
yeah,
all of a sudden you're driving it the same length as a lot of people. They're putting in the sand or the fertilizer, whatever it is, to fill the divot.
No, they do all that.
And so how do you hit out of that?
It's tough, but you need to hit it just like it's a fairway bunker. And again, the most crucial thing, now depending on how bad it is, Danny, you can get some that you're like, I just got to get it out of here.
Yeah.
But you'll get others where you've got to hit the ball first, and it'll come out. Depending on how severe the divot is, most of them aren't that severe. The ball will come out a little lower. It may not have quite as much spin on it, but if you hit the ball first, you can get it out of there and still hit a quality shot.
Is there a favorite grass that you like to play on?
I think the easiest grass to play on, Danny, is a zoysia that we grew up here in the Midwest. I know they have it down in Memphis, as far south as Memphis, and it's easy because it's cushiony. The ball sits up. It's easy to spin your wedges. But no, I don't really favor any of those. When I was a kid and I was trying to learn off of bent, like when we went up north and northeast, and even at UCLA, we'd go to Oregon and Washington State and those places where they have, bent grass, and it's usually wet. Man, I hit some massive flyers. I hit some squirrely shots out of there, but it was all just about trying to learn about my angle of attack. Back then I was way, way steep, so I'd get down, trap right on top of that ball and pinch it, and it'd go all over the place. But I like them all now.
Yeah. You can play them all.
Yeah, I learned how to play them all. So it's right about time for me to retire. I learned how to play them all.
Mike in Minnesota is asking about you getting ready for the Ascension Charity Classic. He travels down to St. Louis every year to watch it. He said he followed you for 18 last year. So thank you, Mike.
That's awesome, Mike.
So
yeah. My gallery of one. No, and you were there. Oh, and I had my daughters there. Well,
you had a big gallery.
I had 10 people.
You had a lot of people pulling for you.
I
and
did
you do, and you will this year.
I disappointed a lot of people.
No, you didn't. So how you feeling?
I'm not feeling great, to be honest. I went to the doctor last week, and I've got to have this back procedure. So I don't know what it's called, but I've got a severe herniation in L4. So they're going to go in, make a small incision in my back, and cut out that piece of bone that's in the nerve. And then it's only about maybe a 2-week or 3-week downtime after, which is nothing. So I'm thinking by July 1st, I'm full go.
You're going to have to be.
I know. That's only 2 months. I know. That's not very much time. But I know how to do this now. And I might sneak out before that 2 weeks is up anyway.
You never know.
I know. You never know.
The hotter weather has hit St. Louis, as we've seen over the weekend. How does that change your game?
Well, the ball pops, and I can't wait. And I'm sure our listeners have noticed that once we get over that 80-degree threshold, this ball performs like mad. It'll go a little further. It'll stay in the air a little longer. It'll spin a little more. It just performs really well. From a safety concern, because it does get super hot, you got to stay hydrated, man. You got to drink a lot of water. And I know we got a lot of listeners that like a beverage every now and again, and I'm not saying don't, but just sneak a water in there every once in a while to help you keep hydrated.
This is from Mary. Best alignment for putting. Where do I want the putter in conjunction with my body?
Okay, that's a great question, Mary. We've talked about this before, but let's say you're a right-handed putter, but you can use the converse if you're lefty. we want the biggest. So the ball needs to be towards it needs to be front, ahead of the middle of your body. So somewhere between your front foot and the middle of your body. You can vary it a little bit. But the most important part, Mary, is your hand position as the putter grip end relates to the ball. You cannot putt with your hands behind the ball. So what I mean by that is that if you look down, you're standing over your putt, you want your hands to be at least on the front edge of the golf ball. That's the edge closest to the hole that you're putting towards. So because that's going to keep the real amount of loft that the putter is designed to have, it'll keep it true. If you move your hands back too far or even forward too far, you're going to adjust the amount of loft that the putter hits the ball with. If you got too much loft with your hands way back, the ball will actually go up in the air. We've seen this on the really cool cameras that we have now, the high-speed cameras. If you hit the ball with too much loft, that ball will actually go up in the air and have a little spin on it and go haywire. Once it gets down, it'll check. Sometimes it'll check straight. Sometimes it'll check to the right or to the left, and you'll wind up missing putts. And if you have your hands too far forward, you're not going to have enough loft on that putter, and it's going to drive the ball straight into the ground, which is going to give you some funky spins and affect your speed. So that's the most important thing, Mary. You want to have your hand position on the front edge of the ball. You've got a full inch. If you wanted an inch ahead of the ball, that's fine. Not really much more than that, and you do not want it behind the ball by any means.
Scott in West County, guys heard you talking, Jay, specifically about trying to improve from 30 to 40 yards out. I choke up on my irons. Should I be doing that? That's Scott.
Oh, Scott's great idea. And yes, I'm a proponent of anything. So think of it this way. As we get closer to the hole, folks, we want more precision. When we're on the tee, we want power, baby. And the fairway is 30, 40 yards wide. We pull our putter out, that hole's a little over 4 inches wide. Okay, so you go from 40 yards to 4 inches. You've got to get much more precise and you've got to get some precision and some real accuracy there, and not power. So as you get closer to the green, I don't mind you choking up, Scott. I think anything you can do to get that ball, to take the steam off of that ball, to land it where you want to land it, to get it to roll out the way you want it to roll out, I'm a proponent of all that. I like choking up. I choke up. It makes me feel like I have a little more control with that wedge, and I think that's a good thing.
This is a final question. Kevin asking, guys, you've been watching the last 3 days of the U.S. Open. Is it surprising to you to see on the par threes that pros are actually teeing the ball up?
Yeah, not really. I mean, I remember
trying to get spin, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And they allow you to tee the ball up, Danny. So it's an advantage you should take. You should take advantage of. It's an opportunity you should take advantage of. Lee Trevino told me as a kid, I said, like, I was playing a practice round with him, and he was just throwing balls on the par threes. And as we were kids, we were throwing balls on the par threes. And he said they let you use the tee in a tournament. He always tees it up. He's just being a little lazy when we're out in the practice rounds, but he tees them up every time. And so I took that to heart. I tee mine up every time.
Good stuff, Jay, as always.
Love it, Danny. Love being with you. Hit him straight, St. Louis. I am proud to welcome the Gateway section of the PGA back to my show. Whether you're pulling into your favorite driving range, public golf course, or country club, there is an excellent chance that the staff there is part of the over 300 men and women PGA professionals at over 100 facilities that make up our Gateway section. I grew up watching so many of these fine men and women getting to the golf course at dawn, leaving at dusk, spending their entire day running events, giving lessons, and growing this great game. PGA Reach, Drive, Chip, and Putt, PGA Hope, and the fantastic PGA Junior League are a few of the examples of the programs run by these same PGA professionals. Go to gatewaypga.org to learn more, or to find your next PGA professional for your next lesson, go to pga.com. The Gateway PGA, growing the game we love.
Hi, I'm Adam Betts, PGA professional and owner at Family Golf and Learning Center. We welcome golfers of all ages and abilities, from the junior golfer to the experienced players. From our indoor TrackMan simulators, large short game area, grass tees, and driving range bays, to our golf instruction, leagues, clinics, and camps, We connect you with every resource to reach your golfing goals. We look forward to helping you improve your golf game at Family Golf and Learning Center, where we make St. Louis better at golf. Visit us at familygolfonline.com. That's familygolfonline.com.
Do you remember the golden rule? I'm sure you do, but just in case, it goes like this. Treat people the way that you'd like to be treated. At People's National Bank, that one statement is the cornerstone of what this bank is all about. Locally owned, with 23 locations in Southern Illinois and the metropolitan St. Louis area, People's National Bank parlays a robust menu of commercial or personal banking services you could possibly need with a friendly yet hardworking Midwestern attitude. Maybe you just want to do business with a bank whose entire team lives in the same neighborhoods as we do. If you're like me and doing business with someone you trust is important to you, then People's National Bank is the bank for you. Jason Rantham, local president, is here for you to call, and he'll answer any questions you may have. His personal cell is 314-974-2243. You can also find us online at peoplesnationalbank.com. People's National Bank is here for all of your banking needs.